So think about your morning routine for a second. Your alarm goes off, you get out of bed, you get dressed, commute to work.
Right, the usual daily grind.
Exactly. But have you ever stopped and wondered why you are actually compelled to do this day after day?
I mean, most of us just assume it's because we have to pay the bills, right?
Yeah, but what if it's deeper than that? What if the very fact that you get hungry or tired or even that you eventually age is actually proof that you are trapped in a rigged simulation?
Oh, wow. Okay. That is a heavy way to start the morning.
I know, right? Just think about it for a second. We generally treat our biology, our bodies, as just baseline reality or, maybe even a gift.
Yeah, absolutely.
But today, for this deep dive, we are looking at a translated philosophical essay that claims our biology is not a gift at all. Like, not even
No,
close.
it really takes the opposite stance.
Yeah. It claims that human existence, right down to its biological core, is basically a mandatory prison sentence.
It's intense. And the author of this essay, Shuofeng, he presents this incredibly jarring thesis right out of the gate.
Yeah, he doesn't hold back at all.
Not at all. So the text is titled, Persistent Motivation Comes from the Longing and Pursuit of a Wonderful Life. And I have to say, it doesn't just offer, self-help tips for a better morning routine or whatever.
Right, no life hacks here.
Exactly. It attempts to completely dismantle our basic perception of reality. It divides all of existence into these two deeply opposed worlds.
It's like a total binary.
Yeah, a stark binary. And then it actually attempts to hand you, the reader, the literal psychological blueprint required to escape one of those worlds and ascend to the other.
And that is our mission for today. We are going to tear right into that blueprint.
It's going to be a fascinating journey.
It really is. We're going to explore this whole paradigm-shifting framework. We'll look at why the author believes we are stuck in this endless punishing grind.
Because he really does view it as a grind.
Oh, totally. And most importantly, we're going to uncover how a single, very specific mental engine can actually break us out of it so we can reach this utopian state.
I think it's important to set the stage here, too. The tone of this piece makes it a very challenging read.
Yeah, it's not a breezy beach read, that's for sure.
Right. Because it oscillates between these heavy, almost uncompromising existential observations about, the total futility of human life.
Uh-huh.
And then it swings into this highly structured, intensely spiritual roadmap. I mean, it literally forces you to question the ultimate value of every single action you took today.
Well, let's start with the trap itself, right? The text introduces this concept called tathaka.
Right, Tathaka, which translates to nature.
Yeah, nature. But it's so important to note that the author does not use that word to describe beautiful forests or oceans or whatever.
No, not nature in the environmental sense.
Right. He defines tathaka as a design program that was established at the very beginning of time.
A program.
Right.
Like software.
Exactly like software. And the idea is that every single living being is basically forced to run this program from the second they are born.
And totally without their consent, I might add.
Right. Nobody asked to be booted up.
Yeah.
Okay, let's unpack this. Framing life as a designed program fundamentally shifts how we view our everyday struggles.
It really does. Because the text outlines the absolute relentless parameters of this program. It's very specific.
What are the mandates?
Well, it's the mandates to eat, right? To find clothing, to secure shelter, to arrange transportation.
All the basics.
All the basics that take up so much of our time. And on top of that, we are biologically mandated to experience birth, aging, sickness, and eventually death.
You literally can't opt out of those.
You can't. And the author describes existing within these strict parameters as a reluctant choice. And he inherently calls it a tragic life.
A tragic life. Wow. It feels eerily similar to being stuck in the survival mode of a massive video game.
Oh, that is a great way to look at it, like Minecraft or something.
Yeah, exactly like that. You spawn into this world, right? And instantly, your hunger bar starts depleting.
Immediately. You haven't even done anything yet.
Right. Your energy drops, you're vulnerable to the weather, the elements, and you end up spending 99% of your time just chopping digital wood.
Just hoarding resources.
Yeah, foraging for food, building this tiny little shelter just so you don't freeze when the sun goes down.
And then you wake up and do it again.
Exactly. You run in these endless, frantic circles, just managing your basic biological meters.
The hunger, the health.
Yeah. And you never actually get to just look around and enjoy the actual game world. You are literally just trying to stave off a game over screen.
That is exactly it. What's fascinating here is that the text applies a very specific kind of academic label to this exact state of being.
Oh, right. The realm of necessity.
Yes, the realm of necessity.
Yeah.
And in this realm, every single action is dictated by what we must do to satisfy that program, rather than what we would freely choose to do.
Because you don't really have a choice if you want to stay alive.
Exactly. And the imagery the author uses to describe this existence is quite heavy, almost poetic, but bleak.
How so?
Well, he notes that living in the realm of necessity means floating up and down in sorrow and joy, blooming and fading like flowers.
See, the inclusion of joy in that cycle is what really caught my attention when I read it.
Right, because usually we think of joy as the goal.
Yeah, exactly. But this suggests that even the good parts of human life, the moments of happiness, the big celebrations,
The weddings, the promotion.
yeah, all of it, they are just temporary fluctuations inside the prison.
Wow.
They aren't escapes from the program at all. They're literally just brief moments when your hunger bar happens to be full.
That is a harsh reality check.
Yeah.
But the text views those moments of joy as basically part of the trap.
They keep us complacent.
Exactly. They placate us. Because no matter how profound that joy is today, the program absolutely dictates that you will inevitably wake up tomorrow needing to eat again.
The bar empties out?
It always empties out. You will still age. You will still face sickness.
It's inevitable.
And the author actually goes even further, suggesting this cycle doesn't just span a single human lifetime.
Wait, really? It goes beyond one life.
Yeah. He argues that beings in this realm loop endlessly through decades or even centuries of reincarnations.
Oh, wow. So it just restarts the game over and over.
Yes. Continuously experiencing trouble, pain, worry, anxiety, and fear, only to be totally reset back to the starting line.
Man, if we actually entertain this idea, right, that we are genuinely trapped in an endless loop of just maintaining a physical shell across multiple lifetimes,
It's exhausting to even think about.
it really is, and it forces us to seriously interrogate the value of our daily ambitions. Like, think about you, the listener, driving to work right now.
Yeah, what's on your mind?
You are probably striving for a promotion or trying to save for a nicer house or hoping to leave some kind of lasting legacy.
Which are all totally normal things to want.
Totally normal in the realm of necessity. But the author takes an unapologetically harsh stance on those earthly ambitions, doesn't he?
Oh, absolutely. The text asserts that everything we pursue and own in this human world is entirely futile, just completely pointless in the grand scheme.
I want to read the author's exact phrasing here because it is incredibly stark.
Go for it.
He writes that everything we pursue and own will eventually melt into emptiness and burst like bubbles.
Burst like bubbles. That is a powerful visual.
Right. He claims that no matter how glorious a state we manage to achieve within the realm of necessity, it is all transitory as passing clouds.
Just passing clouds.
Yeah. None of it is worthy of being pursued or owned.
You know, it serves as a really profound leveling of the human ego.
How do you mean?
Well, think about it. The CEO of a massive multinational corporation and a person who is really struggling just to pay their rent, under this philosophy, they're entirely equal.
Oh, I see. Because they are both just trapped in the same software.
Exactly. Both are just executing the design program of Tathaga, and the earthly achievements of both will inevitably dissolve into silence anyway.
Okay, but I have to throw a flag on the play here.
Okay, let's hear it.
So what does this all mean, like practically speaking? If I accept that my career, my home, my personal legacy are just passing clouds that will burst like bubbles,
Right.
doesn't that inherently lead to a really dark, dangerous place? I mean, is the author just being incredibly dark and nihilistic?
It's a valid concern.
Right. If everything is just a passing cloud, why do anything at all? Why even go to work? More importantly, if I just stop caring about my earthly life, doesn't that make me a highly apathetic, maybe even a terrible person to the people who rely on me right now?
That is the natural friction of reading a text like this. The threat of total nihilism is immense.
Yeah, it feels like it's telling you to just give up.
It does feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
But the author actually anticipates this reaction.
Oh, he does?
Yes, he intentionally strips away the illusion of earthly permanence to force the reader into a very stark binary choice.
Okay.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, he maps out two distinct pathways from this realization.
So what's the first path? Is it the exact nihilism I just described?
Pretty much. The text calls this option A. He literally calls it swimming with the tide.
Swimming with the tide, just letting it wash over you.
Exactly. If you recognize that the human world is futile, but you refuse to look for anything beyond it, you basically just surrender.
Wow.
The author explicitly says this path involves stopping caring about truth, beauty, kindness, or what belongs to whom. You just let everything fade into silence.
You just let the survival game run out the clock without even trying to find meaning.
Right. You just sit
Yeah.
there in the digital rain until your character starves.
That sounds miserable. So what is option B?
Option B is to firmly target a new direction, a direction that entirely exceeds space, time, and the human world itself.
Okay, so a total paradigm shift.
Exactly. The argument is essentially this. The game is rigged, the points do not matter, and the server is eventually going to shut down anyway.
The server is shutting down. I love that.
Right, so the rational response isn't to just sit on the floor and cry about it.
Right.
The rational response is to stop playing for a high score in a temporary game and start actively looking for the exit door.
Okay, that makes the distinction much clearer. So option B is really about redirecting our energy, not extinguishing it.
Precisely. It's active, not passive.
So if we are supposed to redirect our focus away from building a temporary legacy here in the human world,
Right.
the obvious next question is, where exactly are we aiming? Like, what is the exit? Where are we trying to go?
Well, the author shifts from philosophical critique directly into spiritual geography at this point.
Spiritual geography, okay.
Yeah, he points to a definitive ultimate destination, and he calls it the realm of freedom. And he locates it in heaven.
The realm of freedom. And he doesn't just leave it as this vague, abstract concept of heaven either.
No, he gets incredibly specific.
Yeah, he gives it a highly specific name, the Celestial Islands continent of the Elysium world.
Which is quite a mouthful.
It is. The Celestial Islands continent.
But that specificity really grounds the mystical concept, you know?
Right.
It gives the reader a very tangible mental model to strive toward.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Let's contrast this realm of freedom with our video game analogy from earlier.
Okay, let's do it.
So if the human world, the realm of necessity, is the punishing, relentless survival mode.
Where everything is trying to kill you.
Exactly. Then the Celestial Islands continent operates almost like a creative sandbox mode where all the constraints are permanently removed.
Oh, like when you just fly around and build whatever you want.
Exactly. The text defines this wonderful life primarily by the complete absence of that biological tax we discussed earlier.
Right. No biological mandates.
None. The author states there is absolutely no death, no pain, no sorrow, no fighting, and no deprivation.
So it's pretty ideal.
It gets better. It is characterized by eternal spring, eternally green mountains, and clear rivers.
So basically a perfect environment.
Perfect. And above all else, it offers the ultimate freedom to just do whatever you want to do forever.
Because you aren't tied down by survival tasks.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Your hunger bar never drops because you literally don't have one anymore. Your health is infinite. You exist purely to create and experience joy without the constant threat of the environment trying to end your game.
This raises an important question, though, because that contrast highlights a vital mechanical distinction in the author's logic regarding why this realm of freedom cannot possibly exist on Earth.
Why not? Why can't we just build that here?
Well, the text states very plainly that the human world is not the realm of freedom precisely because our physical bodies force us to run for survival.
Oh, I see.
The biological shell itself is the anchor.
Ah. So as long as you literally require a certain caloric intake just to keep your heart beating, you are a prisoner to necessity.
Yes, your biology dictates your daily actions. You can never achieve true freedom while you are bound by the mandates of physical maintenance.
So the realm of freedom represents an existence completely unburdened by those laws of physics and biology.
Entirely unburdened.
That perfectly explains the author's earlier assertion about our earthly pursuits bursting like bubbles.
How so?
Well, we spend our entire lives trying to build these permanent, indestructible castles out of sand on the beach, right?
Yeah.
Completely ignoring the fact that the tide of our own biology, like aging and death, is absolutely guaranteed to come in and wash it all away.
That is exactly the point. And the realization of that impending tide is meant to be the catalyst for the reader.
The wake-up call.
Right. The author claims this broad, beautiful world, this Elysium with eternal spring, is already out there. It's waiting for us.
So it's real and it's waiting.
Yes. But that makes the most critical question of the entire text become very obvious.
How do we actually cross over?
Exactly. If our current biological reality is basically an anchor tied to our ankles, how do we traverse from the relentless grind of necessity to this ultimate freedom?
Because knowing a beautiful destination exists is entirely useless if you don't have a roadmap to get there.
Right. You're just staring at it from a distance.
Yeah, we need a mechanism to prevent us from just wandering in circles within the designed program.
Well, the author does provide a mechanism for escape. And it's that psychological engine we mentioned way at the start of our deep dive.
Ah, right. The persistent motivation.
Yes. The pathway out isn't described as some complex ritual or, the accumulation of secret earthly knowledge or wealth.
No, the text states that the only pathway out is simply the longing and pursuit of a wonderful life.
Just the longing.
Yeah, this specific, intense desire is the actual engine.
On the surface, I mean, simply wanting a better life sounds almost too simplistic to break a cosmic biological program.
It does sound a bit like just wish hard enough and it comes true.
Right. But the text issues a very severe warning about the actual nature of this pursuit. Many people have attempted the journey and failed.
Because they lose steam.
Yeah.
The author asks a series of very pointed questions to the reader here.
What does he ask?
He says, did we delay too much on the road, feel powerless like sighing before the sea, and get pulled back into the realm of necessity because of sluggishness?
Sluggishness.
Sluggishness. And I really want to pause here and turn that question directly to you, the listener.
Yeah, think about this.
Have you felt that sluggishness?
It is an incredibly common human experience, honestly.
It totally is. It's that exact moment you have a profound realization or a lofty goal, or even just a deep, genuine desire for a peaceful, meaningful existence.
You feel so motivated.
Right. But then the sheer heavy gravity of the daily grind pulls you right back down to earth.
The alarm clock goes off again.
Exactly. The emails pile up, the car needs a repair, the rent is suddenly due.
Life gets in the way.
Yeah. And you look at this massive gap between where you are and where you want to be. You essentially sigh before the sea, as the text says, and you just accept that survival mode is all there is.
You let the sluggishness win.
You let it win. So according to this framework, sluggishness is basically the most dangerous force in the human experience.
Without a doubt. It acts as the literal gravity that keeps you trapped in the cycle of reincarnation. It ensures you remain firmly planted in the realm of necessity.
Okay, so how do we physically or spiritually construct an engine powerful enough to break that gravity? I mean, how does the actual act of longing mechanically transport us?
The core of the mechanism lies entirely in the word persistent.
Persistent.
Yes. The author argues that simply having a fleeting moment of spiritual clarity or, just casually wishing for a better life while you're stuck in traffic is entirely insufficient.
It's not enough power.
Not nearly enough. The pursuit must be continuous to overcome the immense friction of the physical world.
Think of it less like shoveling coal into a furnace and more like attempting to achieve escape velocity in a spacecraft.
Okay, I like where this is going.
So Tathaga, the designer program, is the gravity of the planet constantly pulling your ship downward.
Right, trying to crash you back to the surface.
Exactly. And sluggishness is the atmospheric friction trying to literally burn you up as you fly. So your longing, your persistent pursuit of the Elysium world, that is the literal thrust of your rocket engines.
That analogy captures the mechanics perfectly. Because if you apply thrust for only a few minutes, you might catch a brief glimpse of the stars.
A temporary moment of joy.
Exactly. But the moment the engine cuts out, the moment you stop longing, gravity reasserts control immediately.
And you fall right back down.
You fall right back. The text explicitly warns that if your longing is reduced or stopped, you will stay in the exact same place.
You'll just be stuck.
You will completely miss the opportunity to cross over. The continuous, unyielding act of longing is quite literally the vehicle of your transcendence.
It requires a massive reframing of how we actually view desire.
It really does.
Because many traditional spiritual texts advocate for the complete elimination of desire to achieve inner peace, right?
Buddhism and Stoicism both touch on that.
Yeah. They suggest that wanting things is the root of suffering, but this text argues the exact opposite.
I'll quote one.
Right. It argues that a highly specific, white-hot desire, the unyielding longing for ultimate freedom, is actually the single mechanism that can save you.
It really outlines a deeply active, dynamic spirituality.
Yeah, it's not passive at all.
Not at all.
Yeah.
You are not instructed to just passively accept the tragedy of the human condition and, try to find peace within the prison cell.
Just mediate in the corner, no.
No, you are instructed to fiercely, relentlessly desire the escape from it. The longing itself actually shifts your locus of identity.
How so?
Well, if your entire focus is the continuous pursuit of the realm of freedom, Your consciousness is no longer fully tethered to your biological shell. You're already living somewhat in the future, in that freedom.
That is wild. Okay, let's pull all of these threads together and map out the entire journey the source material just took us on today.
It's been a long trip.
It really has. So we began by confronting the unavoidable cyclic program of Tethica.
The software of nature.
Right. We looked at how our physical bodies essentially trap us in the realm of necessity, forcing us into this endless loop of biological maintenance, sorrow, and those fleeting moments of temporary joy.
Which are really just part of the trap.
Exactly. And then we faced the deeply uncomfortable assertion that all of our earthly, material pursuits are basically illusions.
The passing clouds.
Yeah, the realization that our careers, our wealth, our societal status, they are as transitory as passing clouds, ultimately bursting like bubbles against the tide of time.
Which forced us to evaluate that very stark binary choice.
Right. Do we surrender to nihilism and swim with the tide into silence?
Or do we target the exit?
Exactly. And we looked at that exit, the Celestial Islands continent, the realm of freedom, this state of existence completely devoid of biological tax and suffering.
Pure sandbox mode.
Sandbox mode forever. And we concluded by dissecting the only available bridge between this world of necessity and that world of freedom.
The engine of longing.
Yes. We discovered that the unyielding, continuous longing for a wonderful life acts as the required thrust to actually achieve escape velocity from our earthly programming.
You know, for you, the listener, the ultimate takeaway here is deeply personal.
It really is.
Because the text may deal with these massive cosmic scales, realms of existence, centuries of reincarnation, but the actual application happens in your mind today.
On your drive to work.
Exactly. Your internal drive, your daily refusal to succumb to the sluggishness of your routine is the only vehicle capable of breaking the cycle.
You can't let the friction burn you up.
You can't. The mundane tasks of your life will constantly attempt to convince you that they are the ultimate reality.
Because they feel so urgent.
Right. But achieving persistent motivation means continuously reminding yourself that they are not. You must keep the vision of the wonderful life actively burning in your mind to counteract the heavy gravity of necessity.
You just have to keep the thrusters firing.
Exactly.
And this leads me to a final thought I really want you to mull over as you go about the rest of your day.
Let's hear it.
So we have spent this entire deep dive following the internal logic of the source material, right?
Yeah.
The logic that the human world is an illusion, earthly achievements are futile, and only the relentless pursuit of the ultimate realm of freedom has actual value.
That is the foundational premise of the whole essay.
Right. But consider the paradox hidden inside that premise.
A paradox.
Yeah. If the relentless, continuous longing for a wonderful life is the exact specific fuel required to escape the realm of necessity,
Right.
if that active burning desire is the single mechanism that bridges the gap between the illusion of earth and the reality of heaven,
Right.
is it possible that the act of hoping is actually the one real tangible thing that gives this entirely illusory human existence its meaning in the first place?
Oh, wow.
Like, perhaps we aren't merely trapped in a rigged survival game. Perhaps learning how to fiercely, persistently hope for something better is the entire point of the game.
That's a profound lens through which to view the daily grind.
It really reframes everything, doesn't it? Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Don't let the sluggishness win today. Keep your engines firing, keep longing, and keep moving toward that wonderful life.